different systems of education, for example, the Montessori school and Waldorf, and a lot of different activity-based, almost awareness-based programs. So what makes the program here at your school different from some of these other types?
Basically, what we have in our system is we have Montessori ideas here where there are bigger kids teaching the smaller kids, and it's a mixed age group, and the normalization completely works in a different way here. See, normalization is by activity, doing and understanding yourself, you grow out of and become normalized with everything.
Okay, when you use the word normalize, what does that mean exactly?
In Montessori, they have a word called normalize. The child normalizes when you give activity which they are interested. Only that. But they stop there. It's like they have to go clear the inner space and giving a dimension where they can expand the inner space, which will actually go beyond just normalize into dynamic personality. Normalize is saying, okay, we settle this, but we are showing a dimension that is a possibility there. We are creating a possibility for them to build in that.
Okay, can you give an example of that? It's a little bit abstract.
Okay, when you go into a classroom, they keep the activities for the children, and the child picks up the activity which they want to work on, and they set up the whole activity and start performing. Since it's in control of error, like you can learn from the whole thing by yourself, by adjusting the coins and things like that. You can make a mistake and you can correct yourself. But by doing that, you know what level you are and you can push yourself to the next level in that activity. So this is just normalization. But what we are doing in the next level is we are making sure we can make them more creative. We tell them, take it apart, do whatever you want to create just beyond even that space of playing with a toy.
So it's jumping out of the boundaries.
Yes, so out of the box thinking, divergent thinking starts happening.
Yes.
So their confidence is not just, I am confident enough to learn this, but I can create new things out of it. I can think in a different ways and attitude that I can have a beautiful divergent thinking out of it. So this is a dimensional jump for the child. So this is what we go beyond the normalization. So it's just one concept, and Montessori has a lot of concept, but the true value, how to behave and how to act in front of people, they have a class that they have to be graceful to others, they have to say please, thank you, they have to say all these things to the parents and all that. But why it should be, rules should be used, why we should do this is a problem for them. Because if you do something without understanding, you're still teaching the mind. If you teach the inner space, then they will automatically do it. They will say, oh, this is what is required. I have no choice here.
Okay, so when you talk about inner space, and for a layperson who is not understanding what that word means, when you think about space, it sounds like there's nothing there. And when you talk about mind, in the West we talk about being mindful. So that means that you're thinking through and you're making good choices based on your thinking. What's coming out of an inner space when there's nothing there?
See, what we say as inner space as how you feel inside. How you feel. The feeling inside you is the inner space. So if the child is feeling happy, we can call the child, you are in the correct space. The minute the indicator moves and goes to feeling sad, upset or anything, then your inner space is getting hurt. You're putting cracks on your inner space. And you need to heal the inner space, otherwise the depth is going to become very deep and it's solvable, is going to take a lot of time. Then you have to only remodel the whole inner space. So this is what we make them understand in each and every situation. For example, the classroom will have be quiet, be silent, so many rules. Use your walking legs, this is one of the common thing. But never it has been thought why we need to do it. What is the purpose? So the kids can never ask the teacher, why are you saying it? It's so said before, so I say it. That's all the teacher knows, because the teacher has very less idea about this. But if we can explain to the kid that why we use the walking legs is because we need to be careful with others and if we trip on others, it's going to hurt others. And that's why we wanted you to use walking legs, because we want everybody to be safe and secure. For everything, we go into talking to kids, explaining in detail why we use a rule. So the rules are usually made to be broken. Even for us, if you want to make a rule, then we want to break it, because that's our mindset. The mind always wants to break things. But when you're taught the kid what happens in your inner space, then it is very, very clear as to how your inner space is having a crack, a dent. If you don't fix it now, they are more careful, because it's their body, it's their inner feelings which is getting hurt. If you're going to hurt, are you happy doing this? Are you doing with your heart, or are you doing with your mind? We had other day the kid of around a 5-year-old, and they were all making fun of this 5-year-old kid, and 7-year and 8-year, they were making fun. So the other kid was like little upset, and she was sitting down and all. This kid of 7-year-old is feeling very sad. Oh my God, she started feeling sad. So immediately he says to the teacher, the indicator makes me feel something different. It's not happy. So the teacher advised, because you're saying you're kind of putting her down all the time, your inner space is feeling difficult. Why don't you put her up and see what happens? So this boy goes of 7-year-old to that 5-year-old and would you be nice if you can accompany me in this max problem? And then she accompanies, and then she was able to solve because of this guidance from the senior guy. So the whole relation started changing, and she said, thank you for opening me up. And he felt, oh my God, I didn't do anything actually, but just the teacher told me which indicator it is. And this kid is feeling happy, that kid is feeling happy. The whole classroom is like beautiful.
So it's pretty amazing, because in the Western world, students are really focusing on externals. They're focusing on what the teacher thinks about them, what the principal thinks about them, what other students are thinking about them. And in this way of looking at the student is looking at themselves. So there's a sense of internal locus of control, a processing of who am I as a person, and what is my inner space reflecting at this point in time, and how can I shift that inner space so that it's in a state of balance. And when that foundation or that balance gets there, then all of the interactions can be based on that sense of integrity. It's amazing. It seems very simple, but unfortunately it's something that's not taught in Western education.
Yeah, one more thing what we do is we call this rule itself as stop proving. See, we are constantly proving to others and trying to be somebody else. Constantly proving outside and constantly proving to ourselves, by doing this we satisfy something. But actually doing outside, we are not going to satisfy anything from inside. We are going to only feel at the end of the day we are tired of proving and proving and proving. So constantly we remind the children, especially there are a set of children who wants to speak about so many things. They have so many things to tell. We have so many things to tell is because we want to prove that we know something. We are right about something. Always this I am right feeling. Actually they're trying to tell themselves that I am right. I know things. But the teacher tells these kids, we know you are smart. What is there to tell about it? You just relax into your space and start doing it. So we just convert this energy which is dissipating into trying to prove, into moving productively. We make sure they are enhancing and moving into different dimensions rather than dissipating into the energy where they're trying to prove themselves. So these kind of inner dialogues which the teacher is going to talk to the kid to correct them, to make them understand that they are beautiful by themselves, they are so unique and beautiful that they can come out with more creative things than just keep proving and telling everybody this I did, that I did, and this is what is complaining. All these happens because we want to prove we are right. So that's where the whole problem comes. So constantly the teacher in our school works on the inner space. Really they become the mentor of inner space, and they follow those inner space constantly, and making sure they are compassionate, making sure they are not comparing, they are unique and they are just going on their dimension. And also we, apart from Montessori world of schools, we do a multiple dimension learning where each kid can develop their own ways of learning. It's not that they have an activity, they finish the activity and group activity and it's done. We have a way there where we can expand. One kid will be singing a song about it, one kid will be drawing a Pictionary of it, and the other kid will be playing a game of cards about the same subject. It can be multidimensional, happening in the same place. So that is called multiple intelligence. Bringing out all the dimension of all the kids, the classroom looks like a carnival. It really looks like a carnival. So the learning happens instantaneously. And actually we celebrate every week the carnival of the subject that we did. We have a carnival so that we can all participate in all dimension. So the reiteration is through fun. So the concentration is more, alertness is more, plus inner space is cleared. So all dimension comes into play in Nityananda Vidyalaya.
Wow. So
That
the other thing is that I walked into the school the other day, and the teacher had to leave the classroom, and they were working with the abacus and doing some math projects. And the first thing when I walked into the room, normally when another adult walks into the room, the students are distracted and they start to look at the person and ask them questions. They glanced up at me, but they immediately went back to their work. And then they continued to interact with one another, and there was a real excitement about what they were doing, so that they were so enthralled in the actual task that there was no need to get off task. Whereas in a Western education system, the minute the teacher walks out of the classroom, the students just stop what they're doing because they're not interested really in what they're doing to begin with. They're just doing it because they have to. So this whole idea of being hungry for knowledge and being excited about the learning process and adding some new multi-dimensions to the whole learning setup is really relevant.
Yeah, in Montessori they have this silence. The activity, once they start doing the activity, there will be a pin drop silence in the classroom. If it's noisy class, then they don't accept the class itself. But actually when you're celebrating, you will come out with laughter and noise. When you see kids laughing more, they are stepping into a not beyond logic zone. So they are actually celebrating the activity they are doing. When you celebrate, you will actually learn in an inner space only. So they can remember longer, they can come with creative ideas, and each one will be trying to help each other, because as a group they have to perform. It's not just the one person who performs and gets the mark. Is your group performing? So it becomes like a group activity. They form their own groups and they support each one by themselves, and it's a lot of celebration. In a place of celebration there will be noise, but in more productive way. Not out of screaming or anything, but more laughing and I got it and she got it and things like that as a game.
A lot of celebration. Well, I don't think they know the meaning of the word celebration in the schools where I've worked. They celebrate during extracurricular activities like going to the football game or going out to lunch or sitting in the cafeteria or smoking on the smoking court, but not in the educational process.